Hi guys, Todd Anderson here, along with two-time invitational winner Tom Ross.
What's up? Good to be here.
We're going to be doing a versus video, but first we have a deck tech for you. I'm going to be playing a Naya ramp strategy featuring some new cards. Let's go and take a look at the deck and talk about some of the interactions. So, if you take a look at the deck, to start off with, we're a classic Elvish Mystic deck with 4 Elvish Mystic, 4 Sylvan Caryatid, a ton of turn 1 green sources so we can cast it early, which is great. We are relying on, instead of Courser of Kruphix to hit constant land drops, we're just trying to get as big as we can, as fast as we can. The new card that is going to help us do that is Nissa's Pilgrimage. This card is very similar to Kodama's Reach, except it's not really a color fixer, which kind of sucks. Kodama's Reach and Cultivate were 2 really powerful cards that have been in Standard over the course of the last couple of years. But this one, we're not really going to trigger the Spell Mastery on it, but in order to make this card into what we want it to do, we also have to play a way to fix our colors, and that's why we're also playing Explosive Vegetation. Any thoughts, Tom?
Yeah, so Nissa's Pilgrimage only gets Force, which is alright. You just need to get a ton of land drop, but yeah, your veggies will help cast your double white spells. Usually this is Elspeth. You can do that off 4 Force and just a Vegetation, which is pretty nice.
Yeah, I'm very much looking forward to going Elf, like play Green-Red Temple into Explosive Vegetations into Elspeth. But this is all mana ramp here. We have Mystic, Caryatid, Veggies, Nissa's Pilgrimage. We also have 3 copies of Nissa the Vastwood Seer. This is also going to help us hit our land drops. Very similar to what Courser would be doing, except this card has a much better in-game. While there aren't many cards in Standard that function as both ways to continually hit land drops, while also providing you with a good finisher in the late game. So I think this card could shine in this strategy. But let's get to the meat and potatoes. 3 Dragonlord Tarka, 3 Dragonlord Jamoka. Xenagos is a dual threat / ramp spell, which is kind of cool, although we don't have a ton of creatures in the deck, so the odds of us +1ing are not high unless we've also made like 1 or 2 Satyrs. 2 Genis Hydra to help find all this junk. 3 Elspeth and 2 Ugin, just because these are the most powerful things you can do for the expensive amount, or the lands you're going to be putting into play. The mana base is a little wonky. In order to facilitate Explosive Vegetation, Nissa's Pilgrimage, and Nissa Vastwood Seer, we're playing 9 basics. We have 6 Forest, which might honestly not be enough. I could very easily see us running out of basics when we play like the 2nd or 3rd Nissa's Pilgrimage, which might not even be relevant, since if we're casting like the 2nd or 3rd Nissa's Pilgrimage, it's kind of like just, you know, when you would draw like your 10th land. It doesn't really do anything. It's kind of like that. We have 4 each of the green temples that associate with our other 2 colors, and 4 of each of our fetch lands to help us, since most of our cards have green in the cost, but also have like 1 red or 1 white. But yeah, that's the main deck. Pretty straightforward and simple, but we do have a sideboard to take a look at with a couple of reprints, and let's go and do that. Alright, so in the sideboard here, we have a couple things to help us out in very specific matchups. 4 copies of Hornet Nest against Mono Red. We may be bringing them in today against Tom's token strategy, but I'm not exactly sure yet. Hornet Nest is just a very good defensive measure that any red-based deck is going to have trouble getting through. And I think that for this strategy, it's going to buy us enough time to help us hit our land drops into our giant creatures.
I found Nest is good against 1/1s, especially Goblin Rabblemaster, even though I'm not playing it. Just being able to block and have your Nest live is pretty good.
Yeah, I found that Hornet Nest is also insanely good in decks with Dromoka's Command, which made me almost put like 2 copies of Dromoka's Command in the board to go alongside the Hornet Nest, but I felt like having a few more pinpoint things to help out in specific situations was a little better. We have 2 Glare of Heresy and a Reclamation Sage as our kill things that we aren't normally able to kill. Glare helps us deal with things like Elspeth. It can also come in against opposing Mastery of the Unseen decks or decks with opposing Dragonlord Dromokas. Reclamation Sage, kind of a catch-all. We don't really have a way to tutor for it, but I just wanted like a 3rd way to kill Jeskai Ascendancy while also having a little bit of range against stuff like Whip of Erebos and the like. 2 Gaia's Revenge, which is a reprint out of Magic Origins. This card has traditionally been pretty good against control decks. I'm not sure if it's actually going to be good, though, since all of the control decks now play Dragonlord Ojutai, which just trades with it. So our 7-drop is just trading with their 5-drop, which kind of stinks, but we do get their dragon off the table, which is important in that matchup, because they use their dragon to fuel things like Silumgar Scorn, or just hitting more spells to keep interacting with us. I think a 1-2 punch of Mastery of the Unseen and Gaia's Revenge could just kill them, along with something like Dragonlord Jamoka to keep them from casting counterspells. It might just be too much for them to handle. And then 3 copies of Roast that can come in against Abzan aggro alongside Glare of Heresy. This also can come in against Devotion to help kill things like Polukranos right when it comes down, Whisperwood Elemental and the like. Alright guys, well, that's the sideboard for Naya Ramp. Let's see how it fares against one of the bad boys of the format in Jeskai Tokens. We'll be going over that deck a little more in the intro. We'll see you soon.